Hello you guys, today I am showing you how to make my newly revised gluten-free lemon loaf cake, which is a Starbucks copycat. This is more like a lemon pound cake than a loaf cake. And initially when I posted the initial recipe, the original recipe, a lot of people were having problems with it. It was sinking, it just wasn't turning out right. And I have revamped this. I've tried it dozens of times, and each time it turns out wonderful. It is velvety like a pound cake should be. It is so lemony and citrusy. You will absolutely love it. So let's get started. Okay, 300 grams of sugar, which is about 1.5 cups. I am adding 3 tablespoons of lemon zest from 4 to 5 lemons. Like 2 of my lemons were Meyer lemons, so you can substitute all or just some Meyer lemons in this if you like. And I'm just going to get this on low and mix it. And what happens is the friction from rubbing against the granulated sugar causes the lemon zest to really permeate and get as much oil out of it as possible. And that's what you want for that great lemon flavor. So to that, I am adding 4 ounces or 113 grams of cream cheese that has been softened, and 170 grams or 3/4 of a cup of butter that has also been softened. And once I add all of this in, I'm going to crank it up to about medium, and we're going to let this go for about 5 minutes. This is my original cream cheese pound cake recipe that I have been making for many, many years. It was originally from Southern Living. I adapted it to be gluten-free, of course. And it is just a wonderful staple pound cake recipe to have in your arsenal, because you can also flavor it with different flavors. And like this one, like the lemon, but I've also done pumpkin pound cake before. That is fabulous. You should try that if you haven't tried that from my website before. And it's just a great little workhorse of a pound cake recipe. Okay, so to this, I am adding, now that it's nice and light and fluffy, I'm adding 3 eggs, and we're going to do this one at a time, allowing each one to incorporate before adding the next. Okay, so that is incorporated. I'll go ahead and add the next one in. When I originally created this post and this video for lemon loaf cake, the Starbucks copycat, I knew it was a pound cake more so than a loaf, like a quick bread that a lot of people do. When I researched it, everybody was doing more of like a quick bread, but it clearly states on Starbucks website that it is actually a lemon pound cake. So I should have just stuck with my original pound cake recipe and altered it to be lemon instead of worrying about some other recipe. And a lot of people had issues, and when I tried to make it again, I had the same issues that everybody else had. So I just scrapped that recipe completely, and we're starting over with my original pound cake recipe with lots of lemon. So now I'm adding in the flour, and this is just 201 grams of Kim's gluten-free all-purpose flour blend, which is roughly 1.5 cups minus 1 tablespoon. You should be able to use a store-bought version, but I have not tested it, so don't quote me on that. I'm adding it a little bit at a time because, you know, it tends to fly out of the bowl, especially when you use one of these scraper beaters like I have here. All right, this looks great, so we can scoop it into our prepared pan. I have a loaf pan. It's the smaller kind, I think 8.5 by 4.5, and I've lined it with a sheet of parchment paper so it will be easier to remove later. And I'm just scooping that in. It's a very thick batter because it is pound cake after all. And then I'll just smooth the top. And this is a little trick I learned from cloudykitchen.com. She put a little bit of softened butter in a pastry bag and piped a little line down the center of the smoothed out batter. And she said that this helps basically tell the cake where to crack when it cracks. So we're going to bake this at 325 for 1 hour and 15 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. And while that is baking, let's go ahead and make a quick lemon simple syrup. It's totally optional, but it does add that extra lemon flavor. So I've got 50 grams each of sugar, which is a 1/4 cup, and fresh lemon juice, which is about 2 3/4 tablespoons, in a very small saucepan. And I'm just going to heat this over medium heat and whisk it until it comes to a boil, and then boil it for about 1 to 2 minutes or so, just until the sugar is completely dissolved. And I apologize, I did not get the boiling of this on film because my camera battery died right in the middle of filming it. So at least you know what boiling liquid looks like. Just boil it for 1 to 2 minutes. So the cake is out of the oven now. And right away, I'm going to go ahead and brush it with some of this lemon simple syrup. Then I'm just brushing the top. You can certainly take it out of the pan and do the entire thing, the bottom, the sides, everything. I'm just doing the top. I feel like that's plenty. And any leftover can be used for like lemonade or in tea or whatever. Okay, so now we'll make the really thick white icing. And this is just simply 1 cup or 125 grams of powdered sugar and about 15 grams of freshly squeezed lemon juice, or more, to the desired consistency that you want. I know that Starbucks has a thick lemon glaze on top, so I'm going with that whole Starbucks copycat recipe and doing the thick glaze like this. Feel free to add more lemon juice if you want it a thinner glaze, but this is the perfect consistency for what I am going for. And now we just drizzle it all over the top. It's nice and thick. It's perfectly white with just that lemon juice in there. I didn't choose to add any lemon peel in this. Again, you could add lemon peel to this. You could just really lemon it up, but I feel like it is plenty lemony enough with the lemon zest on the inside and the lemon syrup brushed on the outside that drips into the inside, and then the lemon juice in the glaze. And that is plenty. It is very lemony. And then we just wait for this to dry before cutting it. If you can, wait that long. And that's all there is to it, you guys. It is so velvety and rich and smooth and moist and scrumptious and just so citrusy. I could name all the adjectives, but look at how you can see in the video how velvety it is. It's just a perfect pound cake. I hope you get a chance to make it. And if you do, please let me know if you were one of those that made the original, if this works better for you. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Enjoy.